Matthews and Laine together on network television?
Does Colorado have the league's best dynamic duo?
And look who's #1 in the Eastern Conference.
This is the NHL Spin on Yahoo Sports.
For the first time ever, 2 Canadian teams will square off on American television when the Winnipeg Jets host the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nick, is this a good idea, or is NBC just willing to take an L here?
For me, this is a bet on Austin Matthews as the next big American hockey star, and that bet isn't a bad one. But there's no regional audience for this, so you're really banking on the general hockey fan, and I'm not sure that's going to drive the ratings they want.
Yeah, it might not be a boon right away, but this is something the league has to do. The NHL is the only league that prioritizes franchises over superstars. It's something that needs to change.
Speaking of superstars, the Avalanche seem to have 2 of them on their hands right now. Mikko Rantanen is tied for the NHL lead in points, and Nathan MacKinnon is just 1 behind with 15. And I know that MacKinnon got some heart consideration last year, but overall this pair doesn't get enough attention, and especially Rantanen, who's one of the best playmakers in the game. Justin, what do these 2 guys need to do to get some recognition as maybe the best dynamic duo in hockey?
Just keep on scoring, fellas. 80 goals and 212 points in the last season and change. They have been the most dominant duo in the NHL. And this is nothing against Gabriel Landeskog, who's done really well to facilitate their production, but the top line still is Boston's #1 unit of Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, and David Pastrnak. But when we're talking about strictly duos, it's Rantanen and MacKinnon.
Yeah, that Boston group is tough to beat. Even with Landeskog potentially having a career best season, they're going to be tough to be the top line in hockey in terms of points. But speaking of unheralded groups, the Montreal Canadiens don't have a pretty roster on paper, but they just keep producing. Justin, what are you seeing from this group?
Yeah, maybe it's not what I'm seeing, but inside the organization, they're seeing a cultural reset. I was talking to a scout with Montreal at a Toronto game recently, and he basically spoke to everyone pulling on the same lever. And that wasn't the case last year. They made some changes. I'm not sure who he was subtweeting with that comment, but clearly they're working in the right direction. And with 1 regulation loss in 8 games, it's working.
Yeah, they're young, they're cohesive, and they play fast, and that makes it hard for other teams to play against them, even if they maybe don't have that elite talent. At the end of the day, it's hard to see that not being the difference maker, though, and we saw that again last night. Sidney Crosby versus Connor McDavid matchup. Crosby finally broke out. Everyone knows what this guy can do, but that backhand goal is something special. You think it's the goal of the year, Justin?
It was filthy and it was deliberate, but I'm going with Anthony Duclair's. There was some chance elements there, but it was too nasty to pass up for me.
I don't know. You got to give me skill over fluke any day. I'll take Crosby.